find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to the penultimate round of the PRL Season 12 Tier 2 Championship. We're back at Spa as we were last night for what should hopefully be 22 laps of fantastic racing action in the Ardennes Mountains. My name, as always, is Darragh Thacker, joined alongside by Joshua Griffin, Meek and Josh. Championship, Could it be decided tonight? Rapid OG, Rapid Gopher TV, the two drivers going for it, but it's going to take Gopher quite a bit to try and surmount the points tally.
Yeah, 53-point gap between the two drivers isn't an easy feat at all, but at the end of the day, we know what sim racing often does. It often throws the unexpected curveballs, and certainly tries to get it in the mix a little bit. So it's not all over for Rapid Gopher at the minute, but certainly if anyone wants to hedge any bets anywhere, it would be towards Rapid OG picking up this title with such a huge point gap as well. We was doing a little bit of maths behind the scenes. All Rapid OG needs to do over the course of the next two qualifying sessions of the next two races is score 15 points, and then he is unreachable by Rapid Gopher. He could DNF a final race, not even take part in it, and be able to pick up the title. It's certainly going to be a fascinating end, but before we even get there, we do have Spa-Francorchamps left to go.
Yeah, we do. And with those 15 points, it means we've just worked it out as well that Rapid OG, if he can take pole here in Spa and Rapid Gopher finishes 9th or lower in the qualifying session, then Rapid OG's got it wrapped up before we even get racing. So, it's going to be quite a tall order for Rapid Gopher here to keep the championship alive, and it depends on Rapid OG making mistakes, but it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. Of course, there's still that battle for P3 in the championship as well, Josh. Craggy, Halo, Beast, Crazy I Do It, and Shane, those, 5 drivers only split by 7 points.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't even rule out the likes of just Komi-san or Dinata8 from getting in there, because we know they can pull off an upset. We've seen it time and time again, where they've been able to work their little bit of magic to be able to get good point scoring results. But at the same time, we've seen a little bit of misfortune from him. The likes of Portimao come to mind for Komi-san. Not the greatest of races he would have done, but it's a very different circuit, it's a very different structure around here, around the Ardennes Forest. It should be a fantastic showdown between all of these drivers.
Yeah, hopefully so. And nice to see full grid of 20 in the lobby, so it's absolutely fantastic. It also creates a little bit of tension because a mistake could cost you a little bit more if you're one of those drivers in championship contention. A few of these drivers as well getting some practice in last night. CJQ, one of those who was in the Tier 1 race, so a little bit of experience maybe built up for him as well. So it's going to be interesting, this qualifying session. And another thing to think about, Josh, is that with Spa being such a long track, you're hard-pressed to get 3 runs in, and drivers we've not got out yet, and we're only really going to be able to get 2.
Yeah, they are cutting it a little bit fine, but I'm sure they've got a master plan. I'm sure they've got a run plan they're trying to stick to. We quite often end up seeing some mixed run plans in the qualifying, you know, especially from last week around Qatar, the week before that as well. There can certainly be somewhat differing opinions with, you know, the ideal run plan. But at the end of the day, it just matters that you're able to get a valid lap time on the board, because we know Spa can be a little bit awkward when it comes towards the track limits, especially with the likes through Pouon, Blanchimont as well. All it takes a little bit too much of a push, not enough steering input, try and scrub off a little less speed, and next thing you know, you're over the white line and your lap time's invalidated.
Yeah, it's so easy, isn't it, around Spa to go a little bit wide around some of these corners. I'm thinking particularly down here where Crew Steamers is about to fly through No Name, because if you go a little bit wide here, which is so easy to do, carry a little bit too much speed, you'll lose your lap time. Same can be said down here at Pouon, the double left-hander, of course sometimes called double gauche. No one calls it that, but it does mean double left for those people who may have done kind of French in their education. But then through Piff Paff, it's a difficult middle sector, but if you can keep it in the white lines, you got a good chance.
Yes, certainly so. You can see Crew Steamers doing his absolute utmost to keep it within the white lines, leaving a little bit left on the table for a couple of these latter corners in the lap, especially through Camperts and also Cool Paul. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to take this qualifying. Because, of course, Spa is one of those tracks where if you keep doing consecutive laps, you build up momentum, you can really find those angles where the car feels sensible and it feels well in control. Regardless of how hard you're pushing it, you're always able to find that extra couple attempts. It's why we see so many drivers tend to go out and do another prenup lap around the circuit. But we do have the first couple of lap times across the board. It's going to be Crew Steamers, followed up there by Komi-san, who just pops it in over 1:42.7. And as I say that, F7 Alpara with a 1:41.9.
Yeah, good lap time. Immediately there from Perra. I mean, I've just checked Twitter, and yep, there's the tweet from Perra saying stop the count. So he's hoping to keep his pole position. It's going to be difficult, though, because there's going to be lots of drivers, lots of times to come through. And Rapid Gopher, of course, he needs to be in that top 8, you'd think, minimum in this qualifying session. And he's starting on a medium tyre, going for a banker lap time. How good is it going to be? He might be able to cash out on a soft run, because a 42.9, just being not even 2 tenths off of just Komi-san on a medium tyre, it's a very good lap time and shows a lot of promise for it when he goes through a soft.
Yes, we know what Rapid Gopher's plan is. We know his run plans. Always goes out on that medium, gives us a little bit of a tease of what he can do. And we've seen time and time again, he's able to get those medium tyres into a perfect operating window to execute a great lap in qualifying. And when he shifts it over to the soft tyres, he doesn't seem to stumble, he doesn't seem to stutter. He's very much able to continue the flow, continue building on it, and has even more confidence to start pushing it in through a couple of the critical corners around the circuit, especially with La Source being, well, probably the most pivotal corner on this entire track. You think you're completely flat for a Rouge Radion nowadays, but your next breaking point is going to be at Le Comet turn 7. It's fantastic, and just by being able to get on the power a little bit sooner, on a fresher set of tyres, will do him a world of good for his lap time.
Yeah, I think if memory serves, Camel Straight was second only to... Or no, it was just about beating the Vietnamese Grand Prix straight in terms of length of flat-out racing, if I'm correct. Because, of course, even though there are about... turn 7 as they come, so 5 corners in between turn 1 and Le Com, you're still going to go flat out. So you got to make sure you get the exit absolutely nailed on early, and then carry all that momentum up the hill and down the Kemmel. Patty Pat, he wasn't here last week, trying to make amends with a P10, 44.8, and I think a little bit of time to be found in that time in the Alpine car.
Yeah, we know Patty Pat. We know the pace he's capable of. He's always able to extract it when the pressure is on. We saw it around Jeddah, but unfortunately, lap 1 incident caused him to DNF out that race. We know how frustrated he was. He even made a TikTok how frustrated he was. But here's hoping for a better start around Spa. Of course, it's a little bit more open, but turn 1 La Source, it's seen its fair share of incidents over the years.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah,
back to 2012.
I mean, how much further do you want to go back? We had Leclerc going over the top.
Obviously.
Alonso going over the top of Leclerc's car, and then we had it when the rain came down, and everyone decided they didn't want the cars to go straight coming out of the source. And just having, an awful pile-up, but as a little child, it was very fun to watch all the cars crash.
It was 1998.
Yes.
I would have been -7 at the time.
Yeah, but you've watched it back when you were little, surely. And
I've watched
that was
back.
cool.
Of course I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got confused why David Coulthard was driving, because I'd just seen him talking and looking quite old. But that was because I was young and didn't really understand much about the world. But no, you're right. We've had our fair share of incidents at Turn 1. I mean, even of course, since it's been remodeled, the bus stop didn't used to be there. And we've had lots of incidents due to that being a bit of an even more of an overtaking opportunity, because of course it was a much longer straight and then a very tight hairpin. So, it's got a lot of history, La Source. It's got a lot of incidents that we can look back to. Hopefully not too much of the same, but you've always got to be wary, don't you? Because it can happen.
It's only ever one lockup away, and that's the terrifying thing around Spa. All the drivers are pushing it so hard. I remember when Lewis Hamilton went off, I do believe it was down at turn 14, because he ended up snatching one of his brakes straight into the barrier in qualifying. The whole crowd erupted, as they would at the time. 6-time world champion, and he was like, hey, that's not very nice. This track's difficult. Please, give us a break. And... as much of a driver's track it is, it can certainly throw up a couple curveballs for a lot of these drivers who may not necessarily be too experienced to spar in the F1 game, because of course it's not laser scanned, it is just a little bit different from what it actually is on other racing sims and in real life as well.
Yes, of course, because EA, with all of their resources, have not yet been able to laser scan some of the circuits, of course,
It's
in
coming.
Formula 1.
I think it's coming. I'm praying it's
They
coming.
say that about the second coming of Jesus, Josh. It could be now, it could be tomorrow, it could be in 50 years' time. We will never know. But
I'll be there
hopefully
no
it's
matter
soon.
what, Darragh. I'm telling you right now.
We'll wait. We'll have bated breath. Rapid OG, championship leader, putting it up into P2 and making an all Alfa Romeo front row at the moment of 42.2, and a good time for him at this stage. Were you mentioning when Lewis Hamilton went off, by the way, at Piff Path?
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't that FP1?
Ooh.
I seem to remember that.
Because
I'm gonna have to look this up
I
at some
remember
point.
it was before the Hubert incident at the top of Eau Rouge. It was that weekend.
Yeah. I have to look it up. Either way, RL Beast, the Ferrari driver, it's an Alfa Romeo front row, and it's a Ferrari second row at the moment, showing that maybe we've gone back to the 2019 Ferrari engine, with 4 Ferrari engines in the top 4. So good stuff for them. Not good if you're Rapid Gopher, though, because Rapid OG getting 7 points, Rapid Gopher gaining 0. It would only take Rapid OG to get 1 point, or Rapid Gopher to not get maximum before the end of the season, for OG to take the title.
Yeah, it's going to be certainly an uphill climb, but we do have to remember, Gopher used a medium set of tyres. We know every single time he puts on a fresh set of softs after a medium run, the lap is always electric. We see him here coming through Piff Path, being very delicate on the curbs, exactly what he needs to be. You can't force it over the curbs around the circuit. Some of them will allow you to run the car as low to the floor as it wants. Others, it'll very much have a bit of a violent reaction and try and throw you off any which way possible. Not necessarily opting for, you know, the safest exit over a couple of the curbs.
No, not at all. But let's see what Rapid Gopher can do through the final couple of corners. Through the bus stop, he needs to get himself probably in that top 4 range. I mean, he could make it 5 Ferrari engines in the top 5. Can he do it? You bet he can. Fastest of anybody. And it's a 41.9, half a tenth quicker than Pera. And that really is now the benchmark. But the Ferrari cars, they do look good at the moment, don't they?
They certainly do. It makes you wonder what they've got in their engine. Perhaps a little bottle of Buxton water and a hamster, maybe. I'm just putting it out there. Hamster power, it's a thing, I'm telling you. I am telling you. Hamster's got to drink something, otherwise it'll be cooked alive.
Yeah, maybe they've watched the film Turbo. Taken some tips from that.
Or
I'm not
Bolt.
too sure, of course. Or Bolt, yeah, absolutely. If you're too young for either one of those films, then
You're missing out.
we've got this weekend to watch them up before we come back next week, where we will be delving into the plot of Bolt and Turbo. Because, of course, they are vital to the season finales. Just Komi-san, he looks like he might be trying to improve. The teammates are finding each other at the moment, aren't they? We've got the 2 Alfa Romeos together, the 2 Ferraris, the 2 Alfa Tauris. They're all nice and close together. So, you know, a bit of teammate love feels a bit more like real life, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Apart from the team order, of course.
Well, you never know. We saw a Haas get pole once. Not necessarily Alfa Romeo's second and third, but no, it is possible. But it makes you question, do you reckon the drivers have somewhat settled into the teams now and start to be a little bit more open about the setups of the direction they go with the setups to try and be able to extract the maximum out of the car? Because, of course, these guys, they're more than willing, more than happy to go do like 6-7 hours practice to make sure they can get a setup to dial them perfectly. Do you reckon there's been a little bit of collaboration between the teammates as we see Komi-san popping it up into P3 with a very respectable lap time, 1:42.2?
Yeah, I think it's possible that these guys are talking to each other for their setups. And I mean, we know a couple of examples where we had 2 teammates on the podium and they've gone for different setups and they were asking each other in the interview channel afterwards about where they went with the setup. So I'm not too sure. Maybe it's just a bit of coincidence. More likely, I'd say that it is that is the case. But you know, you never really know. Some drivers may lean on their teammates a little bit, maybe use their setups from time trial, etc. So it's interesting to see. I've also just checked that fact as well about the one time that Haas got pole in 2022 when Alfa Romeo came 17th and 18th in that qualifying session. So not quite second and fourth, not quite the nosebleed position that we're currently seeing.
It's not looking good for Pera and Rapid OG then, is it? Let's be quite frank. If that's what we're destined to do, if Haas gets pole, they've got a long way to fall. But we will see Petty climbing up the rankings, up into P15 with a lap time. Again, just edging away on his time, being able to just pick it apart bit by bit and slowly improving more and more. But we do have a strong pole position contender, and of course that's the F7R driver of Pera here in the Sauber car, and you can see him chucking it through the bus stop chicane, 4 attempts up through the middle sector. Surely he's going to be able to top the timing sheets, and he certainly does. A 1:41.4, fantastic stuff there from the F7R driver.
A blasphemous lap time there. 41.4 is an incredible pace set by the Alfa Romeo driver of Pera, but of course, he will take no further part, no further lap times that he will be setting in this session. So that really is him done and dusted. A lot of drivers I'm expecting to see fly out of the pit lane in the next minute or so. We've already got the 2 McLarens and the 2 Alpines coming through the middle sector on their outlaps, but it's Shane. Of course, he's missed a couple of weeks. Shane, of course, been very helpful in giving us some stats and figures for the PRL League. And through the first sector, minorly up, but of course, your lap is made in the middle sector, isn't it, really? Because the first sector is just the source and the run down towards the calm, but that is not the line. And that might be lap ruined and a bit of a rethink, but I think I'll have enough fuel to go again.
Back off, recharge the battery, go again. Another prenup lap doesn't hurt too much on the tyres around here. The only time you're really going to be struggling is trying to get the foot down through Blanchimont and making sure the car gets started in as much as you would necessarily as much as you could really hope for. Getting the wheels, turning up the rear, make sure you get in that traction down at the bus stop chicane. That's where the tyres really start to struggle. So as long as he takes it steady through the likes of Blanchimont, like he is doing now for the remainder of this lap, he should be on to yet again go for another lap time. As we do see Craggy's just about starting his lap here. Currently sitting P9. How much further do we think he can climb?
I mean, the McLarens, they've not had the best of seasons, have they? The father-son duo, Craggy's and CJQ, but can Craggy's get himself a couple more points for his championship tally? Of course, in that fight for third in the championship by virtue of consistently turning up, and full credit for doing so. First sectors, but of course, take with a pinch of salt, not really much to do in your 200ths down. You're going to be able to find that if you're improving on your lap time through the middle sector. But this is going to be his final attempt in this session, and looking at the time with 1:35 left on the clock, that Ferrari coming down towards turn 1 will meet the flag, but everyone in front should be able to reach the line without the end of the session.
Yep, certainly so. We can start seeing those on the outlap now. Craggy's is just about pulling up to him. Hopefully Bill will be able to move out of the way of him, because the last place you really want to get into traffic here is going to be down that back straight, all the way from Corporal Frere down into the bus stop chicane. It'd be so awkward trying to dodge the cars, you know, heading through Blanchimont on the ride up to Blanchimont, so hopefully they'll be able to pull over to a side, let him pass. The last thing the drivers in front on the outlap's necessarily going to want to do is give him a little bit of a tow, because it can be very, very crucial around this circuit. If he had a bit of a tow now, he'd be maxing out 8th gear, scrub a load off through Blanchimont, and then it'll be picking up the speed all the way down here into the bus stop, picking his braking point, 100 meter board, brilliant stuff, chucks it over the first curb, delicately bounces it over the second one to get the car rotated, nice no level power, keeps it to the right hand side. It's a 1:42.6 there for Craggy's, and CJQ abandons his lap, dives it back into the pits.
Yeah, so that'll be the McLarens done for this session. I think the Alpines will be next, whether that's Collateral Zoom, I think, will be the one to cross the line. I think he's gone P10 in that car. Shane, though, we're keeping an eye on him as he is coming across the line soon to finish his session as the timer ticks underneath 10 seconds. We have not got too much longer to go, but you need the time on the board. You need to get it in now. I mean, Shane is a full second behind Perry. He's got a lot of time to find if he wants pole. Halo's not improving. Komisar's not improving. Neither is Perry. Can Shane put it into the top 2? Yes, he can. 8,000ths quicker than Gopher, and Gopher's got to respond.
Fantastic stuff there. Again, it's very much going to be backwards and forwards between a lot of these drivers. The last laps in qualifying are the most important. It sounds Will Buxton, it sounds silly, but this is where the track's at its optimal. This is where the drivers can dial themselves in. We've had a couple prep laps. They can go absolutely flying, as we all see Crew Steamers putting it up there into P7 with a very respectable lap time. Once again, we're seeing a lot of good lap times here, but we will have a little bit of a traffic jam now with a couple of these cars being led by RRL Beast here. Currently sitting P9, he's going to be looking to move himself up, ideally into the top 5.
Yeah, let's see. All of these times as they come across the line. Beast coming through the final corner. It's only a 10th up to P7. It's not too big of a gap. But can he go even further than that? Oh, it's just about P7. Stays in the 0.6. Mythbusters jumps up onto the second row to join his teammate. But Rapid OG replaces him. But it means with Rapid Gopher invalidating the lap time, Rapid OG will not be gaining any points, but still picking up a nice amount of 5 for his championship cords. A couple of drivers maybe to cross the line. Poloski's invalidated the lap time. He won't be improving improving. So is Alberto Maracucho, which only leaves Crazy I Do It, really, to set a lap time through the final part of the bus stop. The Williams driver, he's still in that P3 fight as well. A couple of tenths into the top 10, and he goes 7th, steals the point off of RRL Beast. That should be the session, with Crazy I Do It jumping up into P7, but it's Pera on pole. Championship contenders go from Rapid OG. They're joined on the second row.
Certainly looking to be fireworks down into turn 1, and that's exactly what we was hoping for. It should be very entertaining watching them go side by side. Just a real question I have, how long are they willing to go side by side, and which one's going to be forced to back off heading up through Eau Rouge and Radion? Because there's no way they're going to go too wide on the starting lap. There's way too much to risk for these drivers.
Yeah, you definitely
Surely.
For them. Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, there's only a lot to risk if you're Rapid OG. Rapid Gopher, at this point, has absolutely nothing to lose. If the championship now, after that qualifying session, Rapid Gopher is 52 points behind Rapid OG. 52, I mean, that is a monumental, I mean, that is 2 race wins.
Yeah.
Of course. So, yeah, if there wasn't points for qualifying, all OG would need would be a point, and I'm going to check the count back as well. But there we go. There's the results from short qualifying. Pera, Shane, Gopher, Rapid OG, and Mythbusters. Ferrari 1 through 5, if you count the engine, so good for them. But also good for Rapid OG, picking up the points in the championship. Just Komi-san in P6 ahead of Crazy I Do It, and SSR Halo picking up that final points playing position. RLL Beast and Crew Steamers round out the top 10, and they are going to start in World Championship points positions. Craggy's just outside. He'll be on the outside looking in with Oliver Seguera joining him on the 6th row. Collateral Zoom and Monster are on the 7th row with Poloski and Patty Pat on the 8th. A few drivers really not setting, you'd say, representative lap times, a couple of seconds off the pace. CJQ, Alberto Maracucho, Alfredo, and Leclerc, who didn't quite get a lap time in, but in that Red Bull car. Full grid of 20 drivers, Josh. This could go any which way, but Rapid OG is very much hoping that he'll wrap up the championship.
Certainly, and you've got to consider as well, so many drivers were unable to deliver on that final lap. For me, that gives a lot of opportunity for those to try and battle themselves through the field. It is Spa, it is a circuit you can overtake at. For me, ideally, in ideal world, if I had the pace of Leclerc, I wouldn't mind starting over back, and I feel like that might be the reason why he's done it. He knows overtakes are possible, he's here to have a bit of fun, of course, returned a couple races ago back to PRL. He's just looking to have a bit of fun. He's looking to have a little bit of racing. It's going to be interesting to see where he's able to come through. I mean, a lot of people said that if Leclerc was in a Red Bull, he'd be able to match Max Verstappen. Now's his chance, apart from Max Verstappen's Oliver Seguera, and Oliver Seguera's a bit of an animal when it comes to Tier 2 here.
Yeah, we say week in, week out, he's always there or thereabouts, but we never really know where he's going to end up.
P3.
Order.
I'm calling it. Podium.
You know
Seguera
P3?
podium. Yeah.
I'm going to go P6, Seguera.
Wow, you're a doubter.
No, I'm not a doubter. I'm just saying that I think something might go awry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll bring it up on the podium interview of Seguera when he comes and joins us.
Please don't. I don't want him to. He's like me. I've just realised as well, whilst doing this,
Yeah.
between Rapid OG and Rapid Gopher, how many wins do you think they have in the 8 races we've had so far?
6.
I'm going to double check this because I can't quite believe my eyes. They have had a grand total of, and I'm double checking, and this is
Please
right.
double check.
Oh my word. They've had 1.
No.
Rapid Gopher has not won a race. Rapid OG has won a race, and that was last week at Qatar. So,
Oh my.
after 7 rounds, the 2 big title contenders, neither of them had won a race, which I think is fantastic. But on the count back, if Rapid Gopher was to bring this back, and he needs 2 wins, then it means that he would then take it if it was a tie in the championship, which makes the maths a little bit easier, because he only needs to be 34 points behind as we go into this race, and being 52 points behind, he needs to gain 18, which means he must finish first or second. Otherwise, the championship is going to be Rapid OG's.
Is that with Rapid OG finishing in the points?
Not scoring any points.
Wow.
That's the point. So if Rapid OG gets P6, he's the champion. P6 or better. Or if he gets... Oh no, but it's so P6 or better and Rapid OG is champion, and that requires Gopher to win. If Rapid Gopher comes second, then Rapid OG cannot score points. Otherwise, OG is the title winner. So it's going to be pretty difficult. It's going to take a bit of a mistake, I think, for OG, but he's just going to make sure he brings it home if you're in the Alfa Romeo.
Absolutely, but he's got many, many hungry drivers behind him. A key example, as you can see on the tyre delta, Crazy I Do It. He certainly is crazy, opting to start on that soft compound tyre. He's going to be electric off the start, all the way down into the source. And then you're going to have to assume in that middle sector, he's going to have so much more grip than the medium and hard tyres in front of him. It'd be hard not to try and expect him to try and make a cheeky move, whether it's into No Name, or maybe even try and go around the outside of Poo-on. I'm trying to manifest it, okay, Darragh? Just let me manifest this.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, who are you going to go for the win very quickly?
Ooh. I'm going to say Gopher. He needs it.
I'm going to go with Perra, bit of an unknown quantity. If you're in the Twitch chat or the YouTube chat, let us know who you think's going to win this race. And we'll have a look at those once we get this race underway. But everyone now lined up on the grid. We've got 3 runners on the softs. We've got, 7 runners on the hards, which means everybody else is on that medium compound of tyre. This could be a championship winning day for Rapid OG. He just needs to finish in that top 6, or might even not need that, depending on where Rapid Gopher finishes. The lights are on, but we are racing here at Spa. 22 laps of this historic circuit are underway, and it's a good enough start for Perra to control the lead down in towards turn 1. He'll have no problem holding everybody off as they go 2, 3 wide through the source. Good start, though, for Rapid Gopher as he keeps by Rapid OG for now. Crazy I Do It looks dangerous on those softs, but as they make their way up the hill for the first time, Perra leads Shane by a distance. Rapid Gopher trying to hold off OG.
Oh, contact there, up for a Rouge. Komi-san into the wall on the right-hand side. Hopefully, there's going to be no safety car, and we'll be allowed to let these drivers race as we see a late lunge from the inside by Rapid Gopher doing exactly what he needs to do. He knows he's got to make these positions. He knows he needs to battle for a front 2, and he's certainly intent on doing that. Showed right there, he showed his hand. He's more than happy to go for a late lunge on his championship rival to try and keep the dream alive at this moment in time. We've got a couple shakers, a couple movers in the order, and I don't think it's stopping anytime soon.
No, not at all. These guys are going to be changing positions like... the tyre is going to be lighting up like a Christmas tree. Patty Pat making some moves on lap 1, overtaking his teammate Collateral Zoom down into Poo-on. And he might even have an inside line on SSR Halo. No, got a little bit optimistic there. But Oliver Squarer already up into P9. He's doing a good job as well. Rapid OG, I didn't quite see what that penalty was for. Did you catch that?
No, but I do believe, if anything, it'll be track limits already.
Yeah,
I do think
that's
so.
An interesting one.
I mean, it's just showing how hungry these drivers are to push.
Yeah, I mean, even it could be a 5-second penalty, maybe just a contact penalty. We're not too sure. But up at the front, or this isn't even at the front because Perra has absolutely bolted away from the rest of the pack. Got way more than a second of a lead now. Shane trying to put Gopher, I should say, trying to put pay to Shane's P2 as Perra is a 48 flat. A fantastic lap time from him. As we still see moves in the background. Crazy I Do It fighting away with the Mythbusters on his soft compound of tyres. Got the inside line into the source. Got some traction. I thought he was going to get better traction. Not in the end. But he's not going to have any DRS to help him up the hill.
But he will have a lot of battery. You can see his battery about at 99%. He's looking to deploy it. He needs to make a move on these drivers in front while he's got the tyre advantage. And we'll see Mythbusters over on the left-hand side getting absolutely swamped just by the pure engine power of these fantastic machines. A little bit of battery deployment gets him that position up into P5. He's got to keep his head down. 1.1 seconds to Rapid OG in front of him. He cannot afford to lose touch of the DRS. No way.
Absolutely not. He has to make sure he stays in that 1 second window. And it's going to help, really, for Rapid OG that Shane's on the hard tyre, because you think that he could get through easily. But then there's that risk, as Shane is dropping ever further back from Rapid Gopher, that he's not going to be able to stick inside the 1 second window. But as they run their way now through Piff Path for the second time in this race, Shane, he's going to be hanging on for dear life. He's got another sector and a bit to hang on to what is now less than a tenth of a second. And Rapid OG, it's going to be good for him, though, because he might have a run down towards the source if Shane doesn't have that DRS advantage.
Yeah, but I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate here. If you are Rapid OG, you know you got the pace to overtake Shane. You get past Shane. What's stopping you from cruising? take it a little bit easy. You've got a 3-second time penalty, but over the course of a race, that's going to disappear. The gaps are going to open up. You don't need to make any further overtakes. You don't need to push your tyres as hard as what Rapid Gopher's doing in the minute, as Rapid Gopher barely hanging on to DRS as well here.
Yeah, well, he's clawing his way back in because, of course, Shane wasn't within a second, but he's found himself back outside on the run out of La Source, and Shane is inside. So Shane will have the DRS, as will Rapid OG. Crazy I Do It won't either, so he might be a little bit vulnerable from Mythbusters, but the pack is starting to stretch out here. Not many drivers within half a tenth as we run our way down in towards Les Combes, but Rapid OG is one of them as he's had a fantastic run up the hill. Outside line for Les Combes. This is an important move. Shane's not going to fight it. Shane thinks this is not my battle, and he lets Rapid OG go for now. The race will come back to him when he pits for a medium.
Yep, certainly so. Shane being very smart, very strategical with how he's picking these battles. He knows in the long run, defending there isn't going to do him any favours. All he's got to do is run his own race on that hard compound tyre, wait for that switchover point, get onto a fresher set of tyres, a softer set of tyres than those around him, and he'll be absolutely flying. He showed you how to pace in qualifying. He knows it's all going to come back to him. It's going to be just desserts at the end of this race.
It is going to be. So we'll wait and see how this strategy all pans out. Going to be interesting. Going to be one to keep an eye on. Leclerc, of course, started back of the grid, making up 6 places so far on those softs. That's deep into Piff Path, though. Very easy to do. But Poloski back round the outside, goes a little bit off track, but going to take the move. I think if the stewards in F1 had a look at that, they might be giving out a penalty. But Poloski hasn't quite done it yet, and actually Leclerc has retaken that position at the end of the second sector at Stavolo. So fantastic stuff from him. Just Komi-san is retired, and that's going to be a safety car.
Well, now this brings up an opportunity for a couple of these drivers out towards the back. Oliver Sequeira being one of the ones to take this opportunity. Beast, Crustimas as well. You can see the drivers back here. They know that the safety car is not going to catch a field. It's been too slow getting out of the pits.
It means that for everybody watching, get yourself a cup of tea, go pop to the loo, do whatever you need to do, because we are going to have quite a long safety car period. This is going to take at least 6 minutes to deal with. So all of these guys coming to the pit lane, they very nearly struck gold here because they would have been on their fresh tyres. They could go to the end if they're on a hard if they really wanted to. And the guys up front would have been caught by the safety car, wouldn't have had that chance to pit really, and would be in a bit of a more difficult position. But as it is, everyone who hasn't pit will have the chance to pit this time around and won't lose anything at all by doing so. So got a little while to wait. Strategies will pan out, but if you're on the hard tyre now, what do you do, Josh? Medium to the end?
Whoa, I reckon so. It'd be a sensible decision. Of course, these drivers can see the weather forecast. They'll know if there's any sort of drizzle in the air over the mountain tops, but by the looks of it, it's a brilliantly sunny day. So, wouldn't surprise me if you end up seeing medium, or if you're feeling a little bit brave, trying to go medium soft. But of course, it's a gamble. Can drivers afford to take a gamble at this late stage of the season? So it's all going to come down to their confidence and their ability to be able to shift through the pack. We saw it. Crazy I Do It. Not necessarily getting the most out of those soft compound tyres. Expect him to dive it back into the pits as soon as he can. But with that being said, just because one driver can't do it doesn't mean others can't.
Yeah, absolutely so. As we see these top guys come towards the pit lane, of course, still in the safety car. Safety car, I don't think comes in at the end of this lap. I've never seen it do that, but we can all hold out hope. As Pera will dive it into the pit lane, I'm sure, off of that R-tyre. I cannot see why you'd stay out. And there he goes into the pit lane. Rapid Go from Rapid OG are next. And they also come into the pit for a second. I thought they stayed out there, but everybody is coming in. Rapid OG actually may be a little bit disadvantaged here, being stuck behind his teammates. So might lose a position to Shane. Maybe Crazy I Do It as well. But yeah, for the likes of Crew Steamers, who is the lead driver who has come into the pit lane, you might be trying to sniff out a couple more positions as Collateral Zoom goes through. Collateral Zoom will take the lead here. Interesting stuff. But Crew Steamers will come out, I think, exactly where he was. Maybe overtaking one driver or two on the exit of the pit lane. And actually, does he get Rapid OG here? Ooh, no, I don't think he does. We'll just stay in behind. But close stuff there, and there is now really a smorgasbord of different strategies here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're looking at this. Rapid Go for opting for that hard compound tyre. So Rapid OG is not able to do. Started on... Hold on. My words have left me. Started on the hard, ended up having to jump over to the medium, so he's practically forced to make another stop. 17 laps on the mediums around here is nigh impossible. I expect him to be making a pit stop sooner rather than later, though, to make sure he can make the absolute most of his tyre. Very much surprised they didn't try and go for a set of softs if they know they're going to just have to go medium. Exactly what Pera's done up into P2, but we do also have Alfredo sticking out in the Aston Martin in P4. 4-lap old hard tyres. We know what the tyre age can do in this game, Darragh. We know. We've seen it timeless amounts, right? Here at PRL, 3 4-lap old tyres, you will just get swapped because of how competitive this entire field is.
And that's the point. I mean, it's difficult to really judge exactly how this is going to play out because the field is so competitive. I mean, Pera on that soft tyre. Ooh, I'd like to have whatever he's drinking during this safety car because I'm not sure that's going to work out for him. But you know, if there's another safety car, it might do quite well. We'll just have to wait and see. Rapid Gopher's in there as well. Rapid OG still with that 3-second, dropping a little bit further back, not looking as comfortable. But you know, it doesn't really matter if you crawl across the finish. It doesn't matter if you are being dragged backwards to the finishing line. As long as you get there, it's going to work out. And the safety car is in this lap, Josh. We're being treated.
Praise the Lord. I'm not religious, but I might just have to start considering it because we will get back underway racing here on lap 5. Whoever you are up there, thank you. Oh, I had a terrible thought it was going to get a safety car blinking. It would just go around for safety car for a remainder of the race. But time comes. Where do you pull the trigger if you're collateral zoom? Where do you want to try and break away this field? Surely you don't want to do it early. You'll get murked for traction out of the bus stop chicane. Surely you don't want to leave it late because then Pera can dive it down the inside of the source. It's very much going to be a nip and tuck situation. Where would you go?
I go as early as I possibly can because, of course, you cannot overtake before the line. You might as well give yourself the best opportunity to catch them out and gain some time because otherwise you're going to be done for. Oh, Pera not having the best of exits. Maybe a little bit of a love tap there from Rapid Gopher. But we're going to restart this race. Lap 6 of 22, 17 laps of Spa to go. And it is possibly the championship-winning day for Rapid OG if he can make sure that he stays in a championship-winning position. Pera, you can see how much more pace he had. He had to physically get out of the way of collateral zoom. He had that much more traction coming out of turn 1. Rapid Gopher will try and, replicate the feat down in towards Les Coms. He cannot afford to get stuck behind the Alpine driver for very long at all. Collateral zoom actually going to still fight this one out against Pera on the run down towards the end of the Kemmel straight. Pera inside line. Going to have that one covered, but Rapid Gopher got to get this move done soon.
Certainly, he's going to be looking and sniffing at the back of the Alpine car, trying any which way possible he can to try and get around that bit of an obstacle on the circuit, given the tyre age. And a very similar thing can be said for Rapid OG. He's currently stuck behind Alfredo with 5-lap old hard tyres. Surely we're expecting Rapid to try and pull something out in towards P1 here. Surely. He's forced to sit back.
No.
He's forced to sit back.
I mean, it's difficult at the moment, isn't it? Because Alfredo is shipping time. Like there's no tomorrow. I mean, crazy I do it's because listening to the shipping forecast as he sits in P7 for now. But Alfredo really was a moving chicane. Spin at the back for Craggy. It's not going well for him or the McLaren team as they sit in 16th and 19th. The crazy I do it's still looking for the move here on Alfredo as Rapid OG scampers up the road, but he just can't find his way through. He's going to try the outside line here. Oh, sorry, this is Rapid Go from Collateral Zoom. Oh my word, there's contact as they make their way through Blanchman. Here comes Shane as well. This is looking sketchy. Can Shane pull off the double overtake inside line at the bus stop? He's got one. Can he get two around the outside?
Yep.
You bet he can on the traction. And Shane, 4th to 2nd.
Brilliant overtake there from Shane. Getting the double where it was needed into the bus stop chicane. He's going to be looking to try and pull out any bit of a gap he can now. While Rapid Go from Collateral Zoom still having a little bit of a squabble. Still nipping away at each other. But Rapid Go for showing Collateral Zoom that outside edge on the curb. Which gives his championship rival a brilliant opportunity to sneak one through as well. Moved himself up into P4. Rapid OG, Rapid Go for on track together. We know they're competing for a championship. How fair and how square will they keep it on the circuit?
I mean, that was pretty fair, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah, I was expecting, you know, Hamilton, Rosberg.
Set them up so well for a great battle through Les Coms, maybe down into Bruxelles or Alfredo's crash. That's going to be another virtual safety car. But you set them up so well for that, and it was just Rapid Go for ushering him back through. Kristima's 5-second time penalty for collision with Oliver Sequeira. ideal for him. If he pits again, he'll be able to get that one served. So, of course, not removed, but at least he won't have to wait for the final results to see him drop down the order. But a virtual safety car, how long this stays out is going to be important, because if you're Perra, want to stay out to try and pit for a better tyre.
Mate, I just saw the interval between Perra and Shane. 4.3 seconds, and all of that was down to collateral zoom.
Exaggerated. Oh! That has been exaggerated because, of course, with the safety car, you back off a bit, so there you go. It's more like it now, 3.3.
Okay.
But even still, that's still a big gap.
And Patty Pat picking up a 3-second time penalty there as well. Not speeding under a VSC. A little bit of cheeky corner cutting. Wasn't able to get away with it this time, unfortunately, for the Alpine driver. But we're back underway, back under racing conditions here. And Rapid Gopher seems to have caught Rapid OG napping a little bit there.
But the DRS is going to come into force this time around, and that is not the best of lines from Rapid OG. As there you can see, race control says that we can now use that rear flap to make some overtakes happen. CJQ trying to defend his position from both Leclerc and Pelosi. CJQ, lack of front wing into the pit lane, and he'll be joining Alberto Maracucho, who's serving that drive-through penalty.
Yeah, wise decision for these guys to be able to dive it back in, get themselves sorted, and be able to crack on with their race. They're not going to be alone. They'll have each other for company towards the back of the field. And I'm sure with a little bit of efficient DRS trading, they can find themselves working their way back up to the rear of the pack. Because we've still got a couple of these drivers who we expect to make a two-stop strategy. And one of them being, of course, our championship leader, Rapid OG.
Absolutely so. And I mean, Perra, he's pitting again. If he gets those tyres to the end, I don't know what I'll do.
Miracle.
I'll thinking about what I should do on that one, but I'll come up with something because he's not getting to the end. On that soft compound tyre, he's making moves with it, but of course he will have to come into the pit lane sooner than everybody else, maybe looking for an undercut as well, but he's trying to sneak his way into some good championship points. But for now, we're on lap 8 of 22. We're in this kind of phase of the Grand Prix with all these different strategies at play where we don't really know where this is going to go. Collateral Zoom hasn't pit yet. He's on that old hard tyre. Then some of the drivers who have pit, the top 3 have all pit, but they're all on different compounds of tyres. So it's impossible to say how this is going to pan out, especially with the lack of knowledge of whether there's going to be a safety car or not. But this is really going to be one that we're going to have to keep our eye on all the way through to the end.
Especially considering as well, these drivers, they're going to be, unless you've got a fantastic engineering coach who's keeping track of what tyres everyone's using and how many they'll have left in stock, they're going to be very much lost here to who they're really trying to fight. And for drivers who have very little to lose, who are just trying to get themselves in scrappy fights, you know, thinking about the likes of Leclerc, thinking about Patty Pat, you know, they're more than happy to go for a little bit of a brawl. They don't want to square up a boxing match. They don't want to be able to trade jabs. They want to scrap. They want to have a fight. They want to have a bit of fun. And certainly something Crazy I Do is looking to do here on that hard compound tyre, being able to get the move sorted, heading out of the source, giving him a little bit of breathing room and a little bit of clean air heading up through Eau Rouge and Radion. But I don't expect it'll last too much longer as Patty Pat into the wall. Did you see that?
No.
Darragh, his car completely flew. I'm convinced there was contact. It was like the steering input just didn't exist.
I'm going to look at that the second the screen ends, actually. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back on the
Have a look now. Yeah.
And have a look.
That was absolutely insane.
There. Oh my word, there wasn't even contact. I'll tell you right now, there was no one around and he lost it all on his own.
Oh my word. I mean, we know he's got a feat for the spectacular and a little bit of carnage, but my word, what a spectacular way to go out the race. I cannot believe that.
Oh, and Leclerc's crashed now as well. We've got another safety car.
Oh, okay.
Godsend there for Darragh. It's...
I cannot believe that.
I was expecting it there, but I've just seen. His car has just flown into the wall. It's just gone straight.
I was sitting there watching a close battle, seeing him try and shift around with a little bit of slipstream. Next thing I know, Alpine in the background, whoop, into the wall. That's traumatic. I hope he's not using VR.
It's just, that is the kind of thing that you make a meme template out of, where it's just the car disappearing. Like, you're just looking at something else, and then in the background, it's just flying at 180 miles an hour into the wall. Shane with the most awful of penalties that you can pick up in the F1 23 game. It's a 5-second speeding under safety car. speeding in the pit lane under safety car. Everyone likely to go to a medium here if they can. Rapid OG going for a hard. Rapid Gopher, he's going for a medium tyre. And they will all exit the pit lane as were, because no one, and I mean absolutely no one, has stayed out under this safety car. And it has been a race on pit road, as they'd say in the IndyCar series or the NASCAR series. But Rapid Gopher out in P4. Shane and OG with the penalties. Looking good for him at the moment, but not for the championship.
No, it's still looking very much to be towards Rapid OG's side. But the fact he's gone to a hard compound tyre, yes, in the dying embers of a race, it'll be the quicker tyre than the mediums. But if there's a potential opportunity for Gopher to get ahead, maybe try and back OG up into the likes of Halo and Beast, let him get in a little bit of a squabble with them, and hope OG falls down the order a little bit, and Gopher can work his a little bit of magic to try and get past Shane, it could all work out and be able to take this one, of course, to the season finale. But, with that being said, that's an awful lot of work to do, especially considering there's only one driver in the car. You don't exactly have the luxury of a green turtle shell to be able to chuck at the cars around you. That's what they should add.
Oh,
imagine.
I love that.
Blue shell.
Oh, that was my childhood. My childhood quite literally was, I had a neighbour across the road who was about the same age as me, and he had a Wii. And I would go over to his house. He was 3 or 4 years older than me, but we're the only two young people in the estate.
Yes.
And we would sit there and we would play one of 3 things. It would be either FIFA 12, it would either be Wii Sports Resort, or it would be Mario Kart on the Wii. The amount of times that we did a full 32 race championship, I couldn't tell you. They were the good old days. Before you have to worry about anything in life.
Everyone had that friend. My friend's name was Jack. Always used to go over. His big brother was there as well, Ben. We used to play Forza, used to play a little bit of FIFA, and I used to take my little laptop over, and we used to play a little bit of Minecraft, and on the rare occasion, he brought his DS to his father's house. We used to have a cheeky little bit of Mario Kart, which was a lovely break for me, because whenever I used to play Mario Kart on the DS, this will give you an insight to how well my estate was around my age. I had to play the party games by myself, the little balloon popping ones. I played them all by myself with AI.
Well, yeah, I know how you feel.
Yeah,
living on a bungalow estate, in the least affluent of areas. So quite a lot of the older generations around, and not many young people. So yeah, he's an actor now.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, he looks like Daniel Radcliffe, which is hilarious, because he's genuinely been stopped at airports and asked for photos because he looks like Daniel Radcliffe. Anyway, enough about him. Hope he's well. He won't be watching this.
He might be.
I'm sure about that. We're on lap 11 of 22. He might be, but if he was, I'm sure he would have messaged me by now. We're on lap 11 of 22. We're nearly halfway through this race. When the safety car comes in, we're going to have 11 laps to go. And for all of those strategies that we saw at the end of the last safety car, a little bit more monotone now. Pretty much everyone on the hards. Sorry, goodness me. Pretty much everyone on the medium, and just Rapid OG and Mythbusters going for the hard.
Yeah, it very much throws up an interesting dynamic for the hard compound tyres, because they will be able to come back towards the end of the race, have better pace, of course, because they last a little bit longer. We've seen it time and time again here at PRL. When these sort of strategy calls are made between medium and hards, very often it's the majority of the field which gets it right. And I do believe we might see a similar thing here with the mediums, purely because of the sheer amount of them. The grip advantage you'll get on the hard compound tyre, it might be better if it was, a one-on-one, or maybe trying to get past 2 cars towards the end of a race. But having to battle with so many cars on a soft compounded tyre is going to be absolutely critical that Rapid OG is able to keep his position here in P3, not lose touch of the DRS as well. Another huge factor in this race. And considering the only other driver on the grid who's somewhat opted for a similar strategy, Mythbusters down in P10, might be a little bit of a long afternoon here for Rapid OG.
I think that's fair to say, and I mean, we should be able to get to the end without another safety car. Everyone should be able to get. Right, I'm going to start the sentence again.
Yes.
Everyone should be able to get to the end of the race on these tyres, but there could be safety cars. There we go, got it out. Third time's a charm, everybody. But the safety car is coming in this lap. Perra still leads, then it's Shane and Rapid OG, but that's 2 drivers with penalty. So a bit of a buffer for Perra, and Rapid Gopher, he's going to really be the one to try and attack, I think, off this restart.
Surely. What's he got to lose? Go for it. He needs P2 at least, so might as well try and send a couple moves. Go for it. See, go for it.
Yeah, go for it, exactly.
Exactly. Feel free to join us on a Wednesday for some more terrible puns. But they are underway here. Perra going just before the bus stop chicane, trying to get the best run possible through here. And we see Shane going very, very deep, and that's going to give Rapid OG a little bit of a potential run all the way down here. Down the start-finish straight into La Source, but he will have to wait until the start-finish line to be able to really try and make a move. But he decides to sit back, thinks better of it. It's going to be easier just to sit in the slipstream, maybe burn a little bit of battery if he's desperate to get this overtake, heading all the way down into turn 7 at Lecom.
Yeah, and we'll see how they run up the hill. I've just seen on the Twitch chat, Paddy may have retired from the race, but thank you, because he's raided the Twitch stream with all of his followers. We've got all of Patty Pats. We've got to be nice now, Josh. We can't say anything mean about Patty Pat. We are going to have knives to our necks. So Rapid OG, though, he's the one, even on the hard tyre, going for the move for P2, inside line. Oh, but Shane right around the outside at Lecom. Really easily defending that position. Nothing that OG can do. And Rapid Gopher floundering a little bit further back as he needs to really get after Rapid OG because, I mean, it's absolutely nailed on. If he doesn't finish at least ahead of Rapid OG, then the championship is gone for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got to very much hope for Rapid OG to have a little bit of a brick wall moment on those hard tyres. Maybe not get him hooked up. Maybe not get him fired up. But so far, it's looking absolutely perfect for Rapid OG, isn't it? He's been able to get those hard tyres fired up, and he's all over the back of Shane. Whether Shane may have let that mistake get into his head a little bit, heading through the bus stop chicane on the safety car restart. I feel like it's only going to be a matter of time before we start seeing these drivers all close up to one another, because now Perra has broke that DRS to P2 for Shane. Surely we're going to be seeing a couple of these drivers try and deploy a little bit more battery, try and carry a little bit more speed through the corners to try and close up to the rest of the field.
Yes, but let's see if he can do it. I mean, he's dropping back here, Rapid Gopher. It just doesn't look nice. But Rapid OG, is he going for the move on Shane? Not quite. Right on the rear end of the Ferrari there when trying to look for a better exit through the bus stop chicane. It's almost as if everyone's on a hard and Rapid OG is the one on the medium because he is showing some fantastic pace. But the driver showing scintillating pace is Perra, setting another fastest lap of the race with 10 tours of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit to go here for the penultimate round of Season 12. Of the PRL Tier 2. Was Tier 1 was last night. Championship battle still raging on. It will go to the final week at Silverstone, but it could all be wrapped up here this evening in Tier 2 if Rapid OG can just keep himself inside the top 6, which he would be doing right now. But he can't make a position for P2. We'll sit in behind as Halo will get past Beast down in towards Lecom.
Exactly what you would expect. A little bit of DRS trading between the two. Of course, Beast had a very aggressive overtake, heading all the way down into Bruxelles, and he's going for the exact same move again, down the inside, and then just open up the steering wheel a little bit to force Halo the long way, cut him out of track a little bit so he can take the primary line all the way through No Name and get a beautiful run here down into P1. But with all this scrapping, it's created a bit of a dilemma for Rapid Gopher. He's going to have to choose now between trying to get 2 cars backing Shane and OG up, or overtaking OG, backing up, then trying to pedal a little bit harder in that very fancy bicycle he's driving at the minute. Try and get back up into P2 to keep his championship alive. He's very much between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, it's looking increasingly more difficult, isn't it, for Rapid Gopher to keep this championship alive. One thing I have noticed is it got a little bit darker. I mean, could we be in store for a little bit of a sprinkling of rain at the end of this session? Maybe that's a little bit of wishful thinking for a little bit of absolute chaos, but regardless, Oliver Sequeira getting himself up into P8 now, ahead of Collateral Zoo. My P6 is looking relatively solid, isn't it, at the moment, if he can gain another couple of spots. DRS enabled for the 3rd time in this race after we got through lap 3 and then through 2 safety cars as well. We'll be hoping to see some more moves, particularly if you're Rapid Gopher, because he needs to get through on Rapid OG, as we've said, as soon as possible. Rapid OG, though, he's got that DRS on the back of Shane to try and pull himself along and maybe even put himself up into the top 2, just to put the cherry on top of the cake. As we said before, amazingly, only 1 win this season between Rapid OG and Rapid Gopher, but they are the 2 far and away best drivers in terms of the championship standings. And they are showing why. Their consistency has been incredible this season, and even if they're not winning this race, 3rd and 4th, showing some fantastic pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And we mentioned that, the battle for third place. You know, we've got Halo lucky to take the lead in that department, but Crazy I Do It is doing everything he can to keep him honest for the battle for P5, with Beast involved in P7. But the current driver in third place, Cracky Speed, find himself a little bit down the order. Certainly over the last couple of weeks, that McLaren duo, father-son relationship, certainly not necessarily flowing to its most efficient degree.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there. I mean, it's unfortunate for the two McLarens that they've not had the best of races. Full credit to them keeping in there, for keeping themselves stuck in, giving themselves a chance, because, as we know, in PRL at this stage of the season, as long as you're in it, you could very much be picking up some very nice championship points. And with the penalties that we're seeing, if you're Craggies and there's a late safety car, you could be really in with a good shot. And that's why. Got another safety car. That's it says virtual safety car. It is going to be a full safety car. CJQ sadly crashing down at Piff Path. And what do you do now? Perez coming in. Softs would you go for? I think it's a little bit early, to be fair, for softs. And Rapid OG is going to firm it on the hards.
Wow. We mentioned about that pace difference between the hard and the mediums. Not necessarily going to be enough for the hards towards the end of a race. If these soft tyres that these drivers are presumably going to be going on, as we do see Per put on a fresh set of medium tyres, but Rapid going for the softs. This could be a very fascinating end to this race. Who would have thought another safety car, another strategy curveball thrown at us?
And it's going to be, no way, don't tell me. Do not tell me Oliver Sequeira is going to come out of the pit lane, what would be P4 of the drivers that pit, on a soft compound tyre. Is the podium on? Josh, is it on?
I'm telling you, you are a non-believer. Darragh, you've got to start getting into the Oliver Sequeira dojo, right? You got to start doing his training regimens, because I tell you, they make you feel 10 times better. And can try and grab yourself a podium at PRL with them. Well worth it. Would highly recommend. $74.99 a month.
A little bit extortionate. Sounds like Sky Sports, that. But
oh no, you actually get value with this. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's true. You know, to be fair, I will say there's one thing you can say about Sky Sports: they do have a lot of stuff. It just costs a lot of money. But what doesn't cost a lot of money is the JPB Broadcast YouTube channel. It's the PRL Twitch channel, and that's why you lovely people are here watching us for the penultimate round of Tier 2 of Season 12, for the penultimate round in Tier 2 on the F123 game before we swoop our way over towards F124.
Let's go!
And all the bells and whistles that it promises to have. But of course, very much like the elections that will take place tomorrow, there are promises. Will they be kept or not? That's what we're going to have to keep our eye out for. But we will restart this safety car with Rapid OG. I mean, he still might not win the title this evening, because that is looking as slightly precarious, I have to say. Being on that hard compound of tyre with a penalty, I'm not too sure. It doesn't look too safe at this stage. And with Rapid go for on the softs, I mean, he might just about be able to keep it alive for Silverstone.
Potentially, it's going to definitely come down towards the wire. I'm expecting lap 21, lap 22 to have fireworks of a road, because Rapid OG is going to have to lose an awful lot of positions, and we know how good he is at defending. He's able to make the Alfa Romeo car seem about twice as wide as it actually is, especially through more of a technical circuits we've been to, the likes of Jeddah, Qatar. He's been fantastic in defence, fantastic in his efficiency, to be able to trade and swap positions as well. Could he and Poloski be able to pull off something? Feel like we might have to wait and see. But Crew Steamers diving into the pits now, realising, okay, I might have made a mistake. I'm going to go over to a set of soft tyres.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not really long left now, is there? Especially after this safety car. So it's going to be a bit of a sprint to the end. Third full safety car that we've had in this race, and yeah, it's looking interesting. I think it's very much fair to say. We have got Rapid OG, championship leader. I mean, he's got a hand and he's got a hand and 4 fingers on that title. He's just missing the thumb. Now all he needs to do is make sure he finishes in the top 6, and even then it requires Rapid Gopher to come in first, or well, it requires Rapid Gopher to win this race for Rapid OG to finish outside the top 7 for the championship to stay alive. And if Rapid OG stays in the top 10, then Rapid Gopher needs a win. So it's going to be difficult, but the chances are there, especially when you look at the tyres that they have on their car. 6 laps to the end. Will the softs hold on, though? That's the question, Josh.
Yeah. I'm calling it now, yes. We're going to last. We're not going to be too friendly on the very last lap, but they'll last. It'll be a pace delta advantage to the softs in my eyes here. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, I do think that's a fair assessment of what we've got going on. But you never do know. You never do know. This is, I've said it already, but I know. But this is PRL. You know, it could be a little bit interesting. We never really are too sure how it's going to go. And even though we've never spoken to Oliver Sequeira before, you know, we're big Oliver Sequeira fans up here in the commentary box, and we'll have to see if he can put himself up into the podium soon enough. 6 laps to go. When this safety car comes in, hopefully it's in at the end of this lap, and hopefully we can go green to the end, because it's going to be quite some 6 laps, isn't it, here at Spa? And where's that magic message? There it is. We're in this lap, Josh.
Yes, and of course we've hit the safety car allocation with the 3 full safety cars and the 1 BSC. That makes a total of 4, and we have a limit of 4. So, no matter where they crash, no matter how they spin back onto the circuit, they're just going to have to hope the ghosting system works at a tremendous feat here tonight. But one thing is for certain, Rapid OG is not going to be keen on letting any driver take away a win here. He's going to be looking to defend with all his might on that hard compound tyre. But is his might going to be enough? We've got Poloski, 6-lap-old mediums behind him. Pera, Gopher, fresh tyres behind on medium and soft respectively. Then we've got a little bit of a blockade of Alberto Maracuccia and Halo, both on old medium tyres. But we see Rapid OG getting a brilliant launch there, catching Poloski, napping just a little bit, heading into the bus stop chicane. He's already pulled out a second gap. What a restart.
Yeah, fantastic stuff for Rapid OG. He's got Poloski napping. Well, he's got him sleeping, to be fair. Maybe even in a coma. But here comes Perra on those fresh medium tyres. Got to tick those moves off. One of them is done already as they make their way through La Source. But watch out for Rapid Gopher, because I don't think he's going to spend too long dilly-dallying behind the Mercedes of Poloski, as they will run their way up the hill, through Eau Rouge, up Radion, and as they rise over the crest, he's using that ERS. You can see that green line at the bottom of his dash, but he will use that to make sure he gets himself up into P3. Poloski not really giving it up too much, but Gopher inside line at Les Carmes. Thank you very much, Poloski. Have a good race and don't really go anywhere crashing, because you know, he might be swamped as we continue on. But 1, 2, 3, Perra and Rapid Gopher, they're on the fresh tyres. OG's going to be vulnerable.
Yeah, you can already see how much Perra caught up to Rapid OG just down the Camel Straight and into Les Carmes. He's already caught up by 4/10 of a second, and we can expect that delta time to fall away rapidly. It just depends whether Mr. Gopher TV here in P3 is going to try and get intervened as early as he can to try and get the move sorted on Perra, so he can try and put a little bit of pressure on Rapid OG. Because ideally what he wants is to get Perra ahead of Rapid OG, so then they can both start pulling away, and then Rapid Gopher looking just to try and maybe break DRS with that soft compound tyre advantage. Because you see the amount of grip he's got in that middle sector. It is ridiculous on these fresh set of soft tyres.
It is absolutely obscene. And really, could Rapid Gopher make it a double overtake here? Because he's faster than Perra, who's faster than Rapid OG. So this is going to be an interesting one. Perra, though, is he going to make the move into the bus stop? No. The Alfa Romeos hold in formation at the front, but these three far and away ahead of the rest. Shane is languishing back in 7th, caught behind Crazy I Do It and Alberto Maracuccio, along with Poloski. Perra's gone to the inside, down towards La Source. Not too sure why, not too sure what that plan was there, but he's going to stay in behind, and I'm sure look for the move at Le Com.
So there's one of 2 reasons I can think. Either he was just trying to break the total Rapid Gopher and he's a bit concerned about P2, or he was looking to try and cool down his engine so he can make sure he ends up hitting the maximum speed down the Camel Straight. One of the best overtaking opportunities with the DRS open in well, not this lap, but in a couple of laps' time. It'll be a fantastic opportunity to try and get a bit of fresh air, cool his engine so he can get this overtake sorted, so that he can hold on to the fresh air and he won't need to get swarmed by the hot, murky air from the cars in front, from the likes of Rapid OG, and perhaps maybe even Rapid Gopher is looking to try and get that move around the outside. He's had to back off there, knows it's not exactly on the cards, but you think the amount of times these drivers are going off the racing line, picking up marbles on their tyres, Rapid OG it's falling right into his palm here. It's doing a fantastic job of making these two behind wear out the tyres. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
He did, but I mean, this is looking so tight as they come down in towards pit path. Gopher around the outside. You don't see too many moves there. But is this one going to happen? I think maybe, just about, not quite. They're still wheel banging as they make their way across. Perra's picked up a 3-second time penalty in the fighting. But as we roll on, Rapid OG is still in the lead, and with every passing corner, those hard tyres become just a little bit better.
Absolutely, and you consider as well the gap being built up now between Gopher and Shane respectively. Even with Rapid OG's penalty, it won't put him down the order too much more, as we've had a huge incident towards the back between Collateral Zoom and Alberto Maracucha, both from DNF and from the race, but no more safety cars available. So the rest of the drivers will just have to keep their heads down and keep racing to the best of their abilities. But you've got to give credit where credit's due for Craggies. At a time, down and out of this race, now he's on the precipice of being able to pick up a point. Never give up. It just goes to show. Just goes to show. Never give up.
Precisely. I mean, we started with 20 runners. We've only got 13 left with 4 laps to go, really. DRS enabled. Rapid Gopher. Can he pick off 2? He'll at least look to pick off 1 as going up down towards Lake Calm. Rapid OG has been overtaken. Gopher, inside line. Can he make this one stick? He needs to for his championship. There's contact. Gopher's wide. He's off the track and he's not found his way through. That was with Pera, actually, as Pera worked his way back up to second, but these guys, as they fight, Shane is getting ever closer and closer. Mythbusters is around as well, and it's all kicking off at the moment, and I don't really know where to look, but Monster, I've just seen maybe on for a top 8 here.
Yeah, certainly so. He's looking like he's got the pace. Something I'm very much surprised with is Pulaski and Halo's pace on that medium tyre. They've been able to do enough to hold back the rest of these soft compound tyre runners, and really be a little bit of a cork in the bottle, showing they've got fantastic racecraft to keep the tyres alive for this long. Surely the safety car appearance helps them out a little bit, but even given that, the pace differential, we see it here between the likes of Rapid Gopher and Para. Para's been, the quicker driver by the two. You're looking at a 5/10 gap in qualifying between Para and Shane on the front row, and Gopher is all over the back of Para at every opportunity he gets.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Here he goes around the outside. Gopher trying to make the move on Pera. Can he do it at the bus stop? He's gone the long way around. He's got the inside line right through there. No, it is the short answer, and he is still plugging away. I mean, Rapid Gopher is still on for the win here because he's not got a penalty and the others do, but he's not going to be gaining enough points on Rapid OG to keep the title alive. So Rapid OG, he's loving life at the moment because he is in a championship winning position, and with 3 laps to go, all he needs to do is realistically not spin. That's all.
Absolutely. He's just got to keep a level head, not let the pressure get to him. He can afford to let these cars pass, to be quite honest with you, but at the same time, we know his pride. We know he wants to be able to pick up another win, as we've got a 3 wide moment, and of course that's going to narrow it back down to 2 wide, as you see Gopher dancing around the outside on that soft compound tyre, being able to pull off a double overtake. Para holding on to P2, and Rapid OG falling from the Graces in P1 back down to P3, with Shane now looking to try and reel him in just a little bit more. But we'll have to mention Para low on his battery. You see the red light flashing when he goes down the Camel straight, indicating he's below 10%, so it's not going to deliver that full battery power he so desperately needs to try and be able to get an overtake sorted on Rapid Gopher.
Exactly so, but we will, I mean, just keep watching this. This is our Halo 3-second time penalty. It's looking even better for Monster, but of course, the gaps are a little bit bigger in front. Peloski's 3 seconds behind Crazy I Do It at this stage. But as they will run through, there will be 2 laps to go. Gopher leads the race. He's doing absolutely everything he can here. But with Rapid OG currently dropping to what would be P4, it's not going to be enough. Even if he drops to P5, not going to be enough. And it will be a championship winning day for Rapid OG. But there is going to be 2 laps to go. Pera will have the DRS as well. But they're still fighting in behind. They're not done at the back end of the top 10. And Craggies and Halo, they're going to be fighting it out for P7.
Yep, going neck and neck, but Halo's mediums seem to be getting the best of him here. 11 lap holds, not necessarily being able to have the grip he's looking for to try and keep that battle continuing with Craggies. Perhaps looking more in his rear view mirror at the moment, to the likes of Monster and Crew Steamers, who seem very much eager to try and get a past in sooner rather than later.
Yeah, Uppo Rouge and Raddy on now for the penultimate time this evening. Can there be a move for the lead? Pera, he looked for it down at turn 1. Is he going to look for it at the com? I don't think it's going to be a challenge, actually, because Gopher not got anywhere near enough speed down that straight. And through goes F7R Pera. I wonder, is Gopher maybe saving a little bit of ERS, knowing that he can have the DRS on the final lap? Meanwhile, Crazy I Do It is just behind Shane. I mean, these guys have really closed up to the front. And I mean, even Shane is in with a shout of the win here if he can play this right. He's on the same tyre as Rapid Gopher. He really just needs to get through on Rapid OG.
Yeah, he just needs a little bit.
Yes, he is in for the win.
Oh my. The implications that could have on this championship could be massive if Rapid OG ends up making a mistake now. But That being said, Shane certainly looking to benefit from these mistakes the drivers around him have made. He's kept it clean. He's kept his nose clean. Soon to be heading on to the final lap of this race for the penultimate round here at PRL. Shane could very much find himself on the top step of the podium. He's just got to keep himself within the distance of the 3 cars in front.
He does. Just over a lap to go. Monster now with a time penalty. Crew Steamers, he's smiling, and so is RRL Beast, because even though RRL Beast is out of the top 10 for now, he'll very much be firmly inside of it when the penalties are applied. 1 lap to go here to decide who is going to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Shane, I don't think, has led a second of this race, but he might yet win it with the penalties applied. And there's only 1 lap to go, and there's only 1 more tour to find out, Josh.
Exactly, and it's really going to be him trying to make the most of this scenario, making sure he can stay within 3 seconds of Para to be able to capitalise. He might not know, he might not be able to see on his HUD how much penalties Para has. Para does have the 3 seconds worth of penalties, same as Gopher and OG. So ideally, he's going to be looking to keep a 3-second gap there. He can see the drivers will more than likely have a penalty, given how much they're swapping around. But Gopher regains the lead of this race, but I feel like it might be too little too late here for Gopher's championship hopes.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I mean, he leaves the race, he's doing everything he can. I don't think he'll end up winning the race. But that's just how it goes. Crew Steamers has picked up time penalty. Beast is going to be laughing, isn't he, Josh? I mean, there's only half a lap to go. Everyone in front of him has got a time penalty.
Exactly, and we could potentially be seeing him jump up, maybe even higher than P7, depending on the penalties of Craggy's, Poloski, and Crazy Idea. If they've been able to pick up 2 3-second time penalties, he could be away with the fairies, maybe even trying to argue himself in there for a top 5. But we're going to have to wait for the race classification. As for the final time, they'll be coming through Paul Colfrere, and we're going to see the run now all the way from here through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane. Is there going to be any late drama here tonight?
Not too sure. Shane's actually dangerously close to not getting the win with the time penalties. Perez trying to take the win on track off of Gopher. They'll come through the final couple of corners. Gopher trying to fend off Perez any which way he can. And if he goes an interesting line across the final couple of corners, it doesn't matter, because through the final corner, Rapid OG, he's only won once, but this is going to be his 6th podium of the season. He comes P3, but he is your champion of PRL Season 12 in Tier 2. Shane will win the race on the penalties, but it doesn't matter really when you look at the big championship picture, because Rapid OG is your champion and fully deserved. He's just been the most consistent driver all the way through the year. As I've said, he's had 1 win, 2 seconds, and now 3 third places, and he will win the championship with a round to spare. And Josh, you can't say it's not well deserved.
No, he's been absolute class from start to finish of this season, and that's with a race still remaining. I wonder if he's going to try a last to first for that final round, of course, around Silverstone. It should be a very interesting race, but as far as things go, Rapid OG, he's been a clear head leader of the field. Certainly a well-deserved championship. I'm looking forward to see what he's going to be able to do up in Tier 1 next season. For the new game, of course, as well. New challenges, new obstacles, but of course, only one champion, and that today is going to be Rapid OG.
Like we said, fully deserved, and I think in the end, as it stands, he's got a 49-point margin, so comfortably your champion with a round to spare. Shane is your winner, of course. Gopher and OG 2nd and 3rd. I actually do believe that those 3 drivers will be, when we leave Spa, will be the top 3 drivers in the championship. And looking at the standings, I'm almost certain, yes, that is going to be the case. So 1, 2, and 3 are going to be 1, 2, and 3, which is great to see. Pera, he comes P4. I believe that's his first race of the season, or at most his 2nd. So good stuff for him to pick up 21 points with the fastest lap. Crazy I do it in P5, Poloski in P6, and then it was Beast. He was also penalty free. The 2 Ferraris, the only 2 penalty free drivers in the top 12, and they gained, I think, together 7 positions on the penalties when all was said and done. Craggy's in P8, picking up 4 points, with Halo and Crew Steamers rounding out the top 10. Monster just outside, agonisingly close, but just too far away for any kind of points. Oliver Sequeira He didn't get any points in the end, comes home P12, but he kept you guessing. Mythbusters P13, the final finisher. Then our non-finishers, we've got Alberto Maracucho, Gladwell Zoom, CJQ, Leclerc, Patty Pat, Alfredo, and Just Komi-san, the 20 drivers that started this race. And I'm looking, Josh, and I'm seeing 3 drivers in the podium interview channel, so I think we should hop across now.
Absolutely.
First day,
I know, it's good to see you back. Oh, hello, there we are.
Hello. So, I'm not sure which way we want to do this. Let's start with the race winner. Shane, kept your nose clean, did exactly what you needed to do, pick up a race win. How'd you feel about it?
Oh, I didn't turn the game on since Zandvoort, my last race. I hadn't played the game since about 4 p.m. today, and my hand is shaking. Like I'm back on joypad, and you could like when you don't play for a while, my left hand, like 5 laps in, was like shaking, with cramp. It was a struggle from that side of things. But then I ended up getting a 5 second. The game had changed my strategy. So I was going in on mediums, and then it changed it. Like I think I pressed the button, whatever, like that, when the strategy notification came up, and it changed me to soft. So when I was coming into the pits, I was trying to change it back to mediums before I crossed the line, because I'm in the Ferrari garage, so it's quite early. If I'd gone into the pits, I wouldn't have been able to change my tires. So unfortunately, I got done speeding in the pit lane. So that last safety car, I had to get onto, obviously, I only had a new set of softs. It was touch and go, like in terms of, I think it was like 8-9 laps left. But I had to serve the 5 second. I came out in like P10, but I was aggressive then. I made some moves up Radiano Rouge on Crazy Idiot and someone else. So I had to be aggressive. And then I was really pushing because Crazy was quicker on the mediums. So I once I knew I was in the DRS of the guys in front, I knew they were battling and taking time off each other. So I pushed to get into the DRS, and then I had 2 warnings as well. So I knew that I was in my head going, I'm going to get P2, because I knew Gopher didn't have a penalty, but then I had the stream on as well. So I heard that he got the penalty. So at that stage, it was like, right, don't make any mistakes. My pace wasn't great. The tires were going off, but I was like, if I can stay within the DRS of the guys in front, I have a shot here to win it on penalties. You don't want to win it on penalties, but I've lost them on penalties before, so I take it.
A win where a win is available. And of course, that moves you up to P3 in the standings. Final race, Silverstone. Do you feel like you're able to secure it there?
Silverstone's a much better track for me than Spa, to be honest. But at the moment, actually, my focus with Beast is the constructors. We had a massive lead when I was racing. We had an 11-point lead going into this race. So fair play to Rapid OG. Fully deserves a championship. That's over and done with now, but I think now that the aim, because I think Alfa Romeo as well are still winning in with a shot. Constructors now is the big one now going into Silverstone. So that's what I'm looking at. Sec P2, it'd be great if I can get it. I think Gopher's a little bit too far ahead. I'm probably out of, but like if I can get P3 and the constructors is the main one there.
Absolutely. And then we move it over to Rapid Gopher and Rapid OG. What a battle you guys put out there today.
You enjoyed it?
Very much so. It was absolutely brilliant. And I feel like it's only fair to say congratulations on winning the championship, Rapid. Rapid OG, I should say. I forgot we've got 2 Rapids here. No, very, very well earned. Very hard fought throughout the course of the season. Run us through the emotions.
Go for me. I'm just happy. Finally got a decent race at Belgium. First lap, picking up a 3-second penalty was ridiculous. And I thought that was it. Game over, but kept it clean the rest of the race. Second safety car, I wasn't sure if I'd done the right thing staying in the hards. I knew Gopher was going in softs and he was just going to be, rapid, no pun intended. But yeah, I knew the last few laps were going to be a struggle. Tires were 60%, I think, on the last lap. So yeah, it wasn't easy. But again, like you mentioned, the battle we go for all the way through that race was phenomenal, like it has been for the last 4 weeks.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, just glad now that I can go into Silverstone and no pressure, just enjoy it.
Yes.
Now that Shane's back, I don't think we'll catch Ferrari in the constructors.
So I was having a little word with Darragh on the broadcast about you potentially doing a last of first challenge around Silverstone. Is that something which could even interest you?
Like Rapid OG does it, and then that puts the constructors right. It'll make it interesting.
Well, I don't think I don't know where Dalmore is, but I think the constructors is too far away from me. On my own, we'll say now.
We'll see.
So,
we'll see. And then
we'll see. Maybe I'll last the first. And now that I've wrapped up the driver's title, maybe I do enjoy Silverstone, so
could be.
Maybe we'll see what happens next week.
Yes, could be some very good overtaking opportunities there. But we move over to Rapid Gopher. You left it all out on the track there today, mate. Nothing at all to be disappointed about. How did you find that race?
I tried my hardest. I had two very, very scrappy Alfa Romeos wanting a good fight. I loved every second of it. Pyro? I can't remember his name already.
Pyro.
He was putting up a great defense trying to protect OG. I just had to find the right moment to get both of them. And I think, is it similar to what was the two guys that did that overtake on Camel Straight? Either side of the car in the middle? Schumacher and Hakkinen. Yeah.
Hakkinen.
It was very similar to that, but I was in Schumacher's position this time and managed to make it stick around the outside. But yeah, it was a hell of a race. Loved it. My 3-second penalty, I'm fuming with myself. Tyres started to go off. I had a little snap through that left-hander, and it just put me over the lines. I'd held on to 2 warnings for 20 laps. Yeah. And with 2 laps to go, I lost it. So, yeah. I did not have a clue Shane was there, though. Like, the whole time I thought, I've won this. It just does 3 with 3-second time penalties. And then I crossed the line, and I'm like, why am I P2? But, yeah. No, good race. Loved it.
No. To be fair, great penultimate race to the round. Silverstone next up. And you heard it here live. Rapid Gopher, better than Michael Schumacher. I mean, is there anything else we can add to it, Darragh?
I don't think we really can. I think that it says it all really. I can't really add anything to that. I mean, put it on a T-shirt, send it out around the world, get it on Paddy Pat's screen. You might get a few sales of that. But yeah, regardless, well done, Rapid OG, on your championship win. I mean, we said it on stream. Between Rapid Gopher and Rapid OG, even after round 9, you've only had 1 win between you. Which I still can't quite wrap my head around, despite the fact that you two are far and away at the front of the championship. So, Shane, you've got more wins than the 2 of them combined. So, congratulations on that. A little bit of a penny to make you feel slightly better. But yeah, congratulations to Rapid OG and to Rapid Gopher on a fantastic championship battle all the way through the 9 weeks that we've had so far. But of course, we've had 9. That leaves 1 to go, and that'll be next week at Silverstone. That'll be Tier 2 next Wednesday. But next Tuesday, we still have the Tier 1 championship battle to decide. 2 drivers involved in that one, so you want to tune in for that to see who comes out on top to win the Tier 1 title here at PRL, the final PRL Tier 1 title on the F1 23 game. Thanks to everyone who's watched. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in and commented on the stream as well. My name has been Darragh, Thacker, joined by Joshua, Griffin, Meek in the commentary box, and we'll be back next Tuesday and Wednesday for the season finales in PRL for Season 12.
Goodbye all.